care of locals. From the smallest to the largest vehicles, they do it all. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the experts.
Hewitt Tire and Auto, your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
WGSX Lynn Haven, WVL2 Port St. John. Powered by Panama City Toyota, ESPN Northwest Florida. And now, the Gulf Coast's newest sports talk host.
Hey, there's the new guy.
Paul Wilson.
That is not winning football.
Paul is your pipeline to the heart of the action.
The defense can only play this good for so long.
Hot takes, big reactions, and your calls are incoming.
This week, it's really going to be crucial.
The Sports Blitz.
They're playing championship football.
The new Sports Blitz.
You can say what you want.
On 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
For the Sports Blitz here on a Monday at 4 o'clock. What a wonderful weekend we had, and we're pumped up, ready to go to talk about all the breaking news, everything that went on over the weekend. As always, on a Monday, we got Coach Brian Haddad in the building. Brian, how you doing?
Good.
Good to see you. And
to be
always,
back.
Yes, sir, we missed you last week. And Jeffrey in the building. Good to have you, Jeffrey.
Yep.
That's how it goes. Sometimes it goes this way, and always running the ones and twos. Jimmy, how you doing today, buddy?
Hey, guys, great weekend, man. Had a lot of fun watching the old sports ball.
Oh, yes. Either way, man, big-time news coming out of Baton Rouge, Louisiana. And you know what? We have to talk about it. Our friend of the show, the voice of the LSU Tigers, Chris Blair, so gracious to join us today. Christopher, how you doing, my friend?
Doing good, guys. Just coming off a regular run-of-the-mill weekend.
Yes, you are. I am sure you are. We appreciate you coming on today. Well, you know, we talked about it last week. We actually talked about it on Friday, and I was in the ear of Jeffrey telling him that if things don't go well on Saturday in LSU, that we might have something going on. He didn't think so. And
No, I said no.
yeah,
I said no. Let's get straight.
No, absolutely
I
not.
said he's not getting fired.
And,
this weekend.
Yes, so it did happen. So, Chris, when did you find out about the coaching change?
Well, it was pretty early yesterday. I mean, it was after the game Saturday night and early on Sunday morning. I mean, it was pretty evident that there were some high-level discussions going on, and I think early afternoon there were some that were, getting indications that there were going to have to be. I mean, obviously that's a major overhaul for a number of different departments within the athletic department. So again, it was official, I guess, around 8 p.m. or 7 o'clock Central, somewhere in that neighborhood. But it was pretty clear that there were going to be a major announcement coming out on Sunday afternoon, evening, or even Sunday night.
So there's been a lot of talk online about that conversation. And, some people have said that it was dealing with the coordinators, Joe Sloan specifically. Do you know if that was the case, that it was about the coordinators and then it intensified to the coach, or was this just the rumors online?
No, I don't know. I mean, I obviously try to stay off of social media. It's a complete cesspool of mostly bad information and misinformation. Again, it comes down to one thing. And, I think what we've all learned There's a couple of lessons here. And not that it's groundbreaking, because this has been done at other places many, many, many times, as recently as just a couple of weeks ago in the Northeast. But ultimately, you've got to produce. I think Lane Kiffin earlier today in Oxford during his press conference kind of mentioned the fact that this is towards a more NFL-style model now. I think there's a couple of things that are going to change. We've seen, obviously, a change in how recruiting goes for student athletes, how rosters are assembled, all of that due to NIL and transfer portal. And I think the coaching piece, unfortunately, or fortunately, depending on how you look at it, is the last piece of that to become more of a pro model. And what I think Coach Kiffin was talking about, and what I've kind of been seeing for a number of years now, is I think you're going to see a shift from these 10-year guaranteed contracts. I think you're going to see more 4-, 5-, and 6-year deals. In the way that in the NFL, I mean, it's nothing for a coach to get 2 years at a particular with a particular team, and if the results aren't there, then they go find somebody else. And again, that hasn't been the norm in college. There's always kind of been this thing that, well, you got, what is the exact number of years that a coach deserves to build his program? And you get different answers from depending on who you ask: 4 years, 5 years, through 2 years. I think you're going to see that number of years start to dip down. So I don't know. I obviously wasn't in the room. I'm not at that level of communication. Right. But at the end of the day, it was the best roster from a talent standpoint in any kind of measure you want to put on it, whether you want to look at 4 stars or 5 stars, or whether you want to look at the transfers who had really good careers at their previous stops. Whatever you want to measure it by, it was the best roster, and they just didn't get the job done. And I think, again, you lose to an Ole Miss team in Oxford that pretty much has solidified their shot at a college football playoff. Okay, it'd be nice to think you could just go into Oxford every year and win, but frankly, that's not true.
Right.
Okay, you go to Nashville, you lose to the best Vanderbilt team they've had in 80 years. Yeah, I know it's hard for people to stomach that, but Vanderbilt's a very good team, and Clark Lee's done a remarkable job. Still not the worst thing in the world. But the optics on Saturday night, again, just being manhandled after a 4-point lead in the first half, I think was kind of the straw that broke the camel's back. So are there a number of different levels, whether it comes to decisions on coordinators, decisions on hiring and firing within the program? Sure, I'm sure there probably were discussions about that. But ultimately it was about wins and losses. And as Scott Wilbur, the athletic director, sent us all in the email yesterday to all staffers, that standard wasn't upheld, so a change was needed.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like with this NIL, with this free agency, we knew that it wouldn't be long before it would start impacting the coaches with the guaranteed contracts, the long contracts, and all of those things. As far as you have heard so far, how is the team going forward? Obviously losing your coaches who you've been there with, the guys that brought you there. Have you heard any of the team? I know Seven, he had said he's going to, not play anymore, and that was before.
Harold Perkins.
Yeah, Perkins.
Harold Perkins.
So I knew he had stepped away. Have y'all had any of that going on that you've heard of or anything like that?
No, and I don't think Harold Perkins was actually factual. Just to update you on that, that's still kind of muddied water there as far as what he's actually decided on doing. But again, these guys, who knows what will happen at the end of the year? Are there guys who certainly are looking at their options right now? Obviously, I mean that's the nature of what college football is now, and college sports in general. But there was a sense last night from those who were there at the team meeting that these guys are committed for this year. Again, and nobody would expect them to commit beyond that. But again, they've got an off week this week. They'll travel to take on Alabama, on November 8th. Frank Wilson is a guy that a ton of those players, if not all, have a great deal of respect for. And, again, what happens when the season comes to an end? I mean, who knows? And there's anything LSU can do, or Frank Wilson, or the fan base to stop players from leaving. I mean, players leave after every year, whether they're coach fired or not. But I would argue, and this goes for a lot of teams in the SEC, and I think there's still a part of the players that I know that I'm around at LSU. This is where they wanted to be, and they weren't necessarily here because of Brian Kelly or Ed Ogeron or Les Miles. They wanted to play at LSU. So will that hold them on for the rest of the year? I think most of them will. After that, obviously they're going to get options from other schools. The Vultures, I'm sure, are already circling in Baton Rouge from other programs. But again, I think sometimes, and I've been through a number of these coaching changes, both at the end of the year as well as mid-year. I think there's a little too much made of that. There's going to be some that leave, but I think that this fear and the clutching of the pearls that there's a mass exodus, I'd hold the phone on that one.
Yeah, I agree with you on that because LSU still is a place where people want to go because, you've had all of right now, wide receiver U is LSU. Whether people believe that or not, because you got Jamar Chase and Justin Jefferson being at the top of the list.
And Brian Thomas.
And Neighbors. And all of those guys. Yeah, so either way.
And the funny part was...
Not only that, guys, but there are a number, especially on the offense, and you mentioned those receivers. This is an LSU team that has underperformed offensively. There's no two ways about that. The most points they've scored against an FBS opponent was Saturday night, and that's 25.
Yep.
And you got a number of guys who either have maybe a year of eligibility or they have none left. And they've got a handful of games here, 4 games beyond, in the regular season to improve their draft stock. So by simply jumping in the portal and saying, I'm done at LSU, that's not going to do them very good. That would not be a very smart move on their behalf. And hopefully anybody who's giving them advice at this point says, you've got to reset here. LSU season for a playoff, that's out of the picture. But for you individually, you've got a chance. Alex Atkins, we're told, will handle the offensive duties. I knew Alex when he was the offensive line coach and run coordinator at Georgia Southern when I was there years ago with Willie Fritz. He's called plays at both Charlotte and at Florida State. In fact, he was calling the plays when Florida State beat LSU a couple of years ago. So this is a chance to reset. And if nothing else, from a selfish standpoint, it's a chance to increase their draft stock. So, again, I think that's another reason why the hair on fire, mass exodus is probably a little overblown.
Yeah, I agree with that. Now, let's shift over to the possibilities because everybody in the world has got the possibilities. Obviously, Lane Kiffin is the talk of the town of every college football, team that is being spoke of right now, Penn State, Florida, and LSU. Have you, obviously you've not been online much, but have you heard anybody talk about some of the possibilities of people coming back to LSU or coming to LSU?
Oh, obviously you hear the names come out immediately. They started coming out, Saturday night and Sunday morning. Obviously Lane Kiffin and what he's done at Oxford, at Ole Miss is certainly incredible. He's put them as look at the last 2 years. Last year was a disappointing season. They didn't make the playoffs, but they certainly were expected to. I think with their win against Oklahoma, as I said earlier, I think the wheels would have to fall off for them to not make the playoff this year. So, obviously his name is going to come up. But to be honest with you guys, I think now that it's been done, LSU is in a position because of who they are. They don't have to run out and make a rash decision. They're going to have plenty of time to vet a number of candidates. Basically, if there's a coach out there that they want to talk to, I don't see any coach saying, I'm not interested, don't want to talk. Now, that doesn't mean they will come. It just means when LSU calls, they're going to answer the phone. So, you can take from that what you will as to what coaches are available. But I think I think you've come to a point, and then it takes me back to what I said earlier about the changing landscape of college football. Are you going to go out there and look for somebody who already has these trophies in their trophy case? Are you going to look at somebody who is just on the cusp of adding these big trophies to their trophy case? And how much is that going to cost you? How much is Jimmy Sexton going to say, I need 10 years and it has to be guaranteed? Or do you go and find somebody who is doing a lot more with a lot less, who has that fire in their belly, who lives, breathes, and sleeps it 24 hours a day, and the best example I can give is Jay Johnson, the LSU baseball coach.
Yeah.
He does nothing but LSU baseball from the time his feet hit the floor to his eyes close at night. And in that case, then you're probably looking at a number of guys, possibly in Power 4 and possibly in the group of 5. And I'm serious when I say that, because I think there is a shift of these 10-year mega contracts are going to be a thing of the past. So I think, again, it just comes down to, who's the best fit for LSU. But I don't think there's a coach anywhere in the country right now that if LSU calls, they're not at least going to open their ear.
Chris, it's so hard when these things come up because you never know what to believe. You said, the cesspool that is social media. So I try and go to somewhat reputable sources. And then, every firing is different too. So it's hard to compare Orgeron or the way that it ended with Miles or whatever like that. But the part that stuck out to me as interesting and what I've been reading is the involvement, to what level I don't know, of Governor Landry in all of this. And I guess it's probably an unfair question, but I'll ask it in 2 parts. Number one, are you aware what that involvement would have been? Was it simply as a mediator? And number 2, if it was bigger than that, is there a worry maybe in attracting candidates there might be too many chefs in the kitchen, if you will?
Well, obviously, I think when it comes to a decision like this, it always depends on how active a particular governor wants to be. I don't know that it's mandatory that every time LSU makes a decision that the governor is involved. And frankly, again, way above my pay grade. I don't know how much it was involved or how much was it as a mediator, hey, let's get 2 parties together, or how much was it I want to do this or you need to do that? I have no idea.
Right.
But that's not out of the norm.
Okay.
Here in the state of Louisiana. But again, I don't think that will be a hindrance at all. No,
Okay.
I frankly, I think it, whether people outside of Louisiana like it, don't like it, think it's silly, or, that there's other priorities, whatever their opinion is on the matter, to me, it says to a coach, that's how important LSU football is, and that's how important this job is. So, no, I don't see it being a hindrance.
Okay.
One of the names that has come out, and it's funny, we've got to be comical about it all, is the good old Honey Badger has put his name in the hat. He just retired from the NFL, and he has come out and stated that he would love none other than to be the head football coach at the LSU Tiger program. So what do you think about that, Chris? Good old Tyrann Mathieu coming out saying that.
Well, there's not a more beloved LSU Tiger than Tyrann Mathieu. And, it speaks a lot to the fact of Tyrann's love for the program and the university, considering how his career ended here. I know it didn't end the way he wanted it to. But it shows the maturity on his part that, hey, we all make mistakes when we're young. But it did put him on the map. LSU did do that for him and sent him on to a very solid career in the NFL. So I just take from it that Tyrann loves LSU. And again, going back to how it all ended, it would have been easy for him to turn his back on LSU, but that's obviously not the case. He has a deep love for the university and obviously the football program. Do I think Tyrann Mathieu might want to get into coaching? Yeah, I think so. I think he'd be very good at it. This past year, our defensive line coach is a former player who was coaching in the high school ranks a year ago. And I think there's value in that, especially for somebody who can relate to the players. And certainly knows what it takes, the work and dedication and attention to detail, and nobody does that better than Tyrann. Will he be a serious candidate for the head coaching job? I don't know. But would he be a serious candidate for a position, should he ever want one at LSU? I think that's a conversation that certainly would take place.
Yeah, I agree with you. I think he's someone that would come in and rally the players, and I think he would be one of those kind of guys that you'd want on your staff. I believe that. Me being an Alabama fan, I know we've talked about this a little bit, but it really stinks. It really stinks that this is going to happen right before the Alabama game, because do you believe that there's a chance with the quarterback position that they kind of open it up and maybe let Van Buren play a little bit? Because Alabama does not do very well, as we saw over the weekend, with a mobile quarterback. and they usually give Alabama's defense the most trouble. Do you believe Van Buren, we're going to be able to see him some more, or do you think they're going to go and stick with Nussmeier?
Well, I'll be honest. I now that all of the dust, well, I don't know if all the dust is settled, but some of the dust is settled. I mean, I think if you ask my honest opinion about LSU's offense and their deficiencies and their weaknesses, I mean, I think it's probably, if I had to handicap it, I would say about 70% play calling and about 30%, actual play on the field. And I truly mean that. I mean, LSU was successful running the ball in the second half. They opened up the second half. He gave up the opening touchdown. Okay, A&M gets back on top. That's not a huge surprise. That's not a huge shock to the system. And yet we went away from what was working in the first half. I don't quite understand that. And frankly, we kind of questioned that on the air during the game Saturday night. Now, once the score got lopsided, then, of course, the run game had to go out the window. I understand that. But early in the third quarter, it just didn't make sense. And frankly, if you go down and break down, the previous 7 games, there were times where you just were kind of scratching your head, and you kind of felt for Garrett Nussmeier that he was having to be put in these type of situations. It was almost as if, you hear coaches, it's an old cliche, we got to put our players in the best position to succeed. Well, I'm not sure that was the case the majority of the time this season. So having said all of that, I know that Coach Wilson, Frank Wilson, is going to be the interim head coach. He's expected to meet with the media the first time tomorrow after practice. I'm sure the question you posed to me will be the first question asked. My guess is with the staff that is remaining, let's not forget, they're also playing for a job. Whether it's staying at LSU next year with a new coach or whether it's trying to get a job somewhere else. I think all things are on the table, to be perfectly honest with you. I mean, how is Garrett 100%? I mean, truly 100%? If he is, I think they feel good about what he can do for them. Michael Van Buren, as you said, is a very dynamic playmaker, certainly a dual-threat quarterback, which Garrett is not. So I think that also is on the table. So, I think we'll find out a little bit more on that particular question tomorrow when Coach Wilson addresses the media, because that is certainly going to be one of the hottest topics. And I get it. People watching the game, if they stayed till the fourth quarter, Van Buren came in there and he showed what he can do because he's a dual threat quarterback. He did lead them down and got their only touchdown of the second half, albeit game was decided, and I'm not sure how big A&M was fired up defensively. But having said that, he made some dynamic plays. So it'll be interesting to see. And I could see a world in which Garrett Nussmeier is your starting quarterback, but for the first time this year, there is a specific set of plays or a specific drive in a game where they change gears against Alabama and possibly Arkansas and the rest of the schedule with a package for Michael Van Buren. So, I don't have the answer on that yet, but I think everything is possible at this point because Frank Wilson's going to try to win. These players want to win, and the coaches that are on this staff desperately want to show that there's a pulse left after the head coach being fired. And I don't think they're going to be stuck to whatever's happened in the previous 8 weeks.
Yes, and I appreciate that. And I agree. I agree with everything you just said. Chris, we sure do thank you for coming on and being a friend of the show. And during this time, this was a great interview. I appreciate you doing that. And whatever you need to tell them to take it easy on my Crimson Tide guys, since you guys aren't going to playoffs, let's pull it back a little bit. That would be greatly appreciated. But
let me say this before I get going. First off, shout out to Jimmy Sexton. I'm sure he's listening. And secondly, I got to go on record. There were a lot of people tossing dirt on the Crimson Tide after week number 1.
Yes.
There's been a lot of people starting to throw some dirt, after last season. And, bro, I don't know what world they're living on or what team they're watching. This Alabama team is as good as anybody in the country right now. It's going to take, once again, as it always does, it's going to take a near-perfect effort on November 8th when LSU goes over to Bryant-Denny.
Oh, yeah. Well, we appreciate it, and I will get in touch with you, and maybe we can get you on either the week of or the week after. But either way, thank you so much for coming on today, and just have a good off week, and I'm sure you'll be busy covering and doing all the things that you have to do with all the stuff going on over there. But thank you so much. The voice of the LSU Tigers, Chris Blair. Thank you so much, Chris.
You guys have a great rest of the week.
Yes, sir. We appreciate it. And when we come back, we're going to talk to the flip side of all of this. The coach that's wanting or everybody's morning. We're going to be talking to Steve Barnes with RebelWalk.com. You're listening to the Sports Blitz at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Taking your hot takes, rants, and takedowns. Let's hear it on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. It's the PCB Hobby Takeover with Todd. Mondays at 5:20 on ESPN Northwest Florida.
That is a very high-end card and very rare.
Todd talks about coins, trading cards, collectibles, and the amazing stories behind them.
It was the first one that's ever come through my door.
Plus, we'll be taking your calls and questions at 850-215-6290. The PCB Hobby Takeover.
A platform for you to do your hobby.
Mondays at 5:20 on the Sports Talk Monster. ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Monday. The rest of the day, mostly sunshine and 80 with a gentle breeze at 11 miles per hour out of the west-northwest. Tonight, some clouds with lows around 62. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a gentle breeze and a temperature near 72. Moving into Wednesday, about the same with a high of 71 and partly sunny and sprinkling. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Keep the adventure going this holiday season in a new Kia from Bill Bird Kia. Bill Bird Kia now offering 0% APR for up to 48 months, plus a $500 APR bonus on the purchase of a new 2025 Kia Sorento during the big fall savings event going on now. You'll get the perfect balance of comfort, safety, and technology. It's the best family SUV with third-row seating space, providing extra comfort for the entire family. Bill Bird Kia, the home of the 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty. Stop by and see us at 2435 East 15th Street or anytime at BillBirdKiaPanamaCity.com. Offer from Kia Finance America for the purchase of a new 2025 Kia S and LX models. $20.83 per month per 1,000 financed in 48 months. Quantities limited. $500 APR bonus is applied as down payment and no cash value cannot be combined with other finance offers. Not available on balloon financing. The 20-year, 200,000-mile warranty is a Bill Bird Kia warranty. See dealer for complete details. Offer for well-qualified buyers must take delivery from dealer stock through 11/3/25.
Kevin Harlan here for Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner from Arrowhead in Kansas City when the Chiefs take on the Commanders. Patrick Mahomes and a resurging Kansas City have moved to 4-3 on the season with back-to-back wins. Now they face a 3-4 Washington team dealing with injuries. Don't miss it on Monday Night Football.
Commanders at Chiefs. Monday Night Football coverage starts at 6. Kickoff at 7:15 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
You found us inside the CBC Construction Studios. It's not the size of the dog in the fight. It's the size of the fight in the dog. Now, the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson on ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in. You can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Don't forget, we are your Monday Night Football coverage coming up right after the show. Kickoffs at 7:15 right here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Now, as always on a Monday, which is a hot topic Monday, we get to talk to the RebelWalk.com, our friend of the show, Steve Barnes. Steve, how are you doing today, my friend?
Wondering where the time went, because can you believe this? My Lombardi Award semifinal ballot is due this week.
Wow.
Man, oh man, it's already upon us.
Yeah, they don't give that out until December. And we're supposed to pick 12 out of their 50, and you have some write-ins, I guess. But you're supposed to pick 12. I guess they'll narrow it down. Then we'll have the final ballot. But it's all computerized. Does it take a month?
I don't know. That's crazy.
You know something, Steve? I'm looking at the front page of the rebelwalk.com right now, and folks, make sure you get out there. Great reads there. But right at the top, they have the Rebel Football Transfer Portal Tracker, and you have a picture of your head coach, Lane Kiffin, there. That's not because you're worried about him transferring out, are you?
What?
Yes and no. Because I mean,
no, I know what you mean.
If it comes down to money, yeah, Ole Miss can't pay what Florida or LSU can pay.
That's right.
But just contentment. His family's there now. Does he want to? His son just had a second fourth quarter comeback win for Oxford High School. He's a folk hero right now. You want to uproot him and make him play at Buchholz and Gainesville or Struma at Baton Rouge?
Yeah.
No, you want him to stay there. His daughter is a junior, I believe now. She's not going to leave Ole Miss. His ex-wife just moved there. But I mean, there are other considerations.
That's right.
Because his ex-father-in-law was John Reeves.
Yep.
Who was the guy between Spurrier and, I guess the next one would be what, Werfel or Shane Matthews.
Matthews, yep, it was Matthews.
And he and his wife had his first date in Gainesville, so he loves that place. LSU, tough to turn down, but the way I look at it is, all right, we have, if he stayed in Oxford, he always said something about, I always wanted a statue of myself outside the stadium. Well, if he stayed in Oxford, he'd get that, sure. But you have Bryant Denny in Tuscaloosa, you have Jordan Hare in Auburn. If he stays, you might get the only double hyphenated stadium, Vaught Hemingway Kiffin Stadium.
Yeah.
Yeah, that
Kiffin
could be.
Field.
Kiffin
at
Field.
Hemingway Stadium.
Yeah, something like that.
There's always Hollingsworth Field already, but.
Oh, okay.
But, yeah, I could see, two hyphens in that.
Yeah, there you go.
Do you think that Florida is the place to beat, though? Because, obviously, LSU just came available. But, with all of the things, the ties with the ex-wife and the family and the brother or the father-in-law being there, him idolizing Steve Spurrier. I mean, do you really think that there's a lean more towards Florida than possibly LSU at this point?
Well, I'm not sure what he's thinking, but I think LSU's a better job.
I agree.
I mean, with Florida, you're sharing the state with Florida State, Miami, USF now, UCF at times. In Louisiana, you got it yourself. And you got a lot of East Texas. You're as close to Houston almost as Austin is. So, I mean, you can get those East Texas kids in there with the Louisiana kids. You got a pretty good nucleus of a football team. I just think LSU's the best out of the big three jobs. I'd go LSU, Florida, then Penn State. But the thing is, I'm not sure who's hiring at LSU. I don't think it's Woodward.
No.
I'm not sure if it's the Boosters. I'm not sure if it's Governor. I think it's going to be, a lot of backdoor, Huey Long type talks from, the 1930s. I think that's how they're going to get their next coach. Florida, Scott Strickland is going to make this hire, and he cannot swing and miss on this one.
No, that's right.
He already did it with Mullen, and now with Napier. I just hope he's not putting all his eggs in the Kiffin basket. I still think Jed Fish would be a great fit at Florida. It's just he's not the splash hire they're looking for.
That's right.
Yeah, and that's what we've been talking about. We have one of the Florida insiders that comes on Fridays, and they want splash. And, I mean, obviously you've seen online and all of that, but it makes you wonder that if they do swing and miss, what it would do to their program for the foreseeable future if they swing and miss, put all their eggs in one basket, and then they have to go another route, and it's like somebody that's even less than Napier, less than Mullen, and then you're talking about, is Florida a desirable job at this point?
Well, it's going to be a cautionary tale for an AD to, they want a name? Okay, go ahead and hire Gruden right now. You got your name. But I don't think he's ever dealt with the outside pressures at Florida with the boosters. Here's your check, and here's what you're going to do. I don't think Gruden's ever had to deal with that. And I'm not sure. It's got to be at least 25 years since he coached in college. And this game has changed so much.
Well,
that actually might be an advantage to him because he was in the NFL, so he knows free agency.
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. We were just on the phone line with the voice of the LSU Tigers, and he brought that into the mix, is that the college job is looking more and more like an NFL job, and that's where I was wondering if there is a swing and miss with Kiffin, if that is the route that they would try to go then after that, is that they would try to get a coordinator out of the NFL somewhere.
Well, I still think Florida should go with Jed Fish out of Washington. First, it seems to be working out of Alabama with a Washington coach. Second, Fish is a Florida graduate. Bring him home. Now, for LSU, they're going to take a big old swing at Kiffin. I still think, I look at Joe Brady, who's in Buffalo now as the offensive coordinator, but does he want to leave Josh Allen? And they're going to make a playoff run. But the other name I really like is Kelvin Shepard, defensive coordinator with the Lions. He's an Ole Miss legend. I think he's like fifth in tackles all time for LSU. He really he bleeds purple and gold. But does he want to leave Detroit? They're going to make a deep playoff run.
I could see the Joe Brady because if you think about it, it's kind of the Daboll model. He was kind of a OC kind of quarterbacks coach in the NFL. He goes and does 1 year as the OC at Alabama and springboards because he wants to be a head coach. Joe Brady is revered in Baton Rouge for what he did that 1 year. Now, it was just 1 year, but he got the lion's share of the credit for that, even though he wasn't the offensive coordinator. He was a passing game coordinator. I think what's always interesting in these hires is probably, in my mind, 80% of them, they never end up hiring the best person for the job. They are very good at hiring the opposite of what they did the time before. That's why I think Florida is locked into a splash hire.
Yeah.
And why I'm not so sure. I'm not so sure
LSU is not going to go after John Summerall because you can't take the coach from your little brother.
No, I agree with that.
Well, let me ask you, Willie Fritz. He went from Tulane to Houston, and Houston's doing great right now.
Yeah.
If he's going to go out to Texas to get somebody, look at Rhett Lashley instead, because you want offense.
Mm-hmm.
And that's another reason I don't think they'll do Summerall, because he's a defensive coach.
Yeah.
They want offense, so if you can't get Kiffin, I'd look at Lashley and Brady as my top two.
Yeah, and that's who I think coming in. I think Brady is the guy. I think it's a bypass on Kiffin, honestly. I don't think they're going to even try. They may talk, but I don't think he's going to be their first. I think they revere, like Brian said, Brady so much because of the run, because of his NFL experience now, and then coming back into LSU and being that guy again. I think that's really what they believe, honestly.
How big is the smile on Jimmy Sexton's face?
Oh, yeah.
It's always good every time there's movement in the coaching ranks, because he darn near controls everybody.
Well,
the agent game this week, Trace Armstrong, former Florida defensive lineman, former Chicago Bear, he represents Brian Kelly and James Franklin.
Wow.
I mean, how is he going to sell those two guys to a Power 4 program? We're going to find out how good Trace Armstrong is as an agent this week.
Well, the one good thing both of those guys have going for them is they got a $50 million parachute each.
That's a nice parachute.
That is a nice parachute.
Very nice. I could totally see, and obviously all of this is still fresh and new, but I could totally see Brian Kelly being mentioned for that job at Penn State if some way, somehow Matt Rule describes, somehow, some way doesn't go there. But I agree with you about Jimmy Sexton because even Coach Saban said this weekend, keep him away from my wife because of his voice about money.
I could see Brian Kelly at Wisconsin.
Mm-hmm.
They haven't made any decisions on Fickell yet. The fans are apoplectic about it.
Yeah, they're furious.
I think now that Kelly's available, I think he would like to get back up into the Midwest. I could see that one. And that would be a good move for Wisconsin, I think, because certainly since Alvarez, you could probably argue since Bielema and maybe the first year or two of Christ, they have just not been the same.
Right.
They've been a program without an identity.
No, this is going to sound like a regional bias, but Kelly belongs up there.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
Down here, a good friend of mine is Glenn Gelbaugh, who I knew him in Mobile. He was a beat writer with our minor league baseball team when I was a media relations guy. He told me, I asked him a weird question after Kelly got there, like, what's the difference between Orgeron and Kelly? And he says, when Orgeron talks, you might not understand every word he said, but you know he meant it. When Kelly talks, you understand every word, but you're not sure he means it.
Yeah.
And I think that came through to the Louisiana people.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with that.
I don't feel like he was lying ever. And he always, passed the buck as far as blame went. I didn't like that as a Louisiana person, I only lived there for, 49 years,
Yeah.
I only grew up there. I only had season tickets before I went there. And I endured a lot because I was there for Curly Holman years, And that was a lot of losing.
That was a lot of losing.
Yeah.
Oh, you took him from Southern Miss. Come on.
Well, he rode off of Favre, so, that's how he got the job.
What was amazing to me was reading the stat that Brian Kelly is now the first LSU head coach not to win a national championship since Jerry DiNardo. That's amazing.
Well, it's only 3 in a row.
But that's a long time.
Well, you want another stat? And trust me, I don't like these toxic LSU fans. And that's a part of me because I am an LSU fan.
Mm-hmm.
The last coach to not lose 5 games in a season is Bill Arnsparger.
Yeah.
Mike Archer did it.
That's right.
Curly Holman did it. Jerry DiNardo. Nick Saban.
Yep.
Les Miles. Coach O. And guess what? Brian Kelly didn't do it.
That's right.
That's 6 coaches in a row that lost 5 games in a season, and Kelly never did that.
Yeah.
And I was saying, steady the ship. If you lose to A&M, you lose to Alabama, you beat Oklahoma at the end of the year, and then we'll evaluate. And I
don't think Charlie McClendon lost 5 games often.
Yeah, not very often, but he did.
Yeah, I love Charlie Mack.
Charlie Mack.
Yeah.
But okay, not in defense of Kelly, but he's lost 3 games. All 3 are ranked in the top 10.
Yeah.
Combined record 22-2.
Exactly.
It's not like you are losing to Western Kentucky. And by the way, Western Kentucky 6-2. They're going to roll into Baton Rouge in 3 weeks. The Hilltoppers play New Mexico State and Middle Tennessee. They could be 8-2 when they roll into Baton Rouge.
It's not going to matter. It's not going to matter. No, the Hilltopper's going to get slaughtered.
That's what they said about Troy.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, yeah, that's about the right. What was that? I don't know.
The thing that has interested me, and maybe this is just a perception, I don't know, but LSU never, to me, since Kelly's been there, they've had good teams. They won the West, went to the conference championship game. They had a Heisman winner, but for whatever reason, under Saban, under Miles, under Orgeron, I'm not talking about just the national championships, they had a swagger about them I don't feel has been there under Kelly. And I think that is what has bothered so many fans, that it doesn't seem like the same LSU program. They still have talented players, but it doesn't seem like that LSU dominant swagger that I've seen in the past.
Well, under Kelly, he had great players. He didn't have great teams.
Yeah.
And, the best example of this, Lane Kiffin lost, 20 out of 22 starters. And he brought in these players, but he formed them into a team.
Right.
To the point when they beat Oklahoma this week, he went in the locker room with them at the postgame. He says, look, our band's out there, our cheerleaders are out there, our fans are out there. We're going out there. And as a team, they're like cheering. It's like, yeah, let's go. And, today's presser, one of the best answers I've ever heard, he said, I'm trying to teach these guys. In life, these moments don't happen very often. Enjoy them. Let's go out there and enjoy it. Then we'll come back in, take a shower, and get on the plane. But enjoy the moment. He said I think they won 34 straight at SC and like 22 straight or 24 straight at Alabama. And he said, I didn't enjoy any of them because I was always looking ahead to the next one. Now I'm stepping back and saying, enjoy this. And I'm trying to teach these kids, enjoy it now.
Yeah, that's
and they went out there, and he said something, and I know he was caught up in the moment, and it should have been caught on tape, but he was in front of the entire, band and fans, and he pointed to the ground and said, I'm effing staying.
Oh, yeah. No, we all saw it.
I think that was being caught up in the moment.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, for sure.
It shows how happy he is.
Yep. Well, Steve, we appreciate it. We're bumping up against a break. As always, thank you so much for your insight, and we'll see you next Monday.
Real quick, I got to correct Jeff. I think he said Troy was 3-4 last week. Actually, they're 6-2, bowl eligible before Halloween. And if they take care of business the next 3 weeks, it's going to come down to the final game against Southern Mississippi to see who plays James Madison for the Sun Belt title. So, little shout out to the Trojans, and they opened their new indoor football facility this week.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate it, Steve.
Troy would ever have one.
No, never. We appreciate it, Steve. Thank you, my friend.
All right, brothers.
And when we come back, we will dive more into these coaching carousel of college football. You're listening to the Sports Blitz at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
The Red 70s studio line is now open. 850-215-6290. Weather in the Panhandle never stops. Turn to 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast.
Up to the minute weather reports all day long.
A chance of thunderstorms and moderate rain.
In-depth storm coverage.
Winter Storm Enzo.
And breaking weather as it happens.
Hurricane Helene.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
We do have a tropical storm warning.
Rely on it.
A.E. Wright Investigations serves Bay County and the surrounding communities with a wide range of investigative services, including insurance fraud. When you feel a private investigator is needed, A.E. Wright Investigations is here to assist you. Please reach out at any time, 850-588-9275, and online at aewrightinvestigations.com. And take comfort in knowing that all investigations, consultations, and services provided are strictly confidential. Florida license 835-00007.
Reliable Copy Products is proud to be the exclusive dealer in Northwest Florida for Kyocera office equipment. Reliable Copy Products has been committed to providing professional, personalized service for the last 35 years. They understand that the right equipment does not always fall within today's budget requirements, so they offer several options for the equipment you need today for the growth you expect tomorrow. Call James Smothers at 784-6601. 784-6601. Reliable Copy Products on Harrison Avenue, just north of Bay High School.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Now, we're live and local inside the CBC Construction Studios. You've got the games, but we've got the breakdown.
That's the difference between a winning football team and a losing football team.
Hot takes, cold truths, and the takedowns that get everyone talking. This is the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson.
Then you're going to run into a big problem.
104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Also, don't forget, tonight after the show, Monday Night Football coverage starts right here. Kickoffs at 7:15 right here on ESPN 104.3. Now, guys, when you look at it, we've talked about a lot of this, and I just want to see where you guys are thinking. Do you think that if, and Brian, I'll go with you first, do you really believe that if LSU, because Brian Kelly is a name. I mean, it's a name. He's been to the national championship. He's been to conference championship with LSU. Do you think that it is a step back, or that LSU, it's just still too early to think that it's going to be some kind of hire that's a splash hire like we're talking about with Florida? Or do you think it's going to be a LSU guy, the guy we love? I mean, I know we say what we think would best fit or best make that swagger come back that you were referring to, but do you think that these guys in this market of life that we live in college football now, is it different? Is every job that's a huge job like this job a splash job?
I don't think ironically, I don't think this one has to be. I think Florida has to be, just because of the nature of you tried it with the up and coming kind of guy and it didn't work out. I think with LSU, I don't think it has to be a splash hire, a massive name. What I think it has to be is offense focused, though. I really do. I think that's the thing that LSU fans generally, in my mind, obviously I'm looking at one right now, but in my mind are the most upset about. Like, to me, when I look at this, I know I'm going to risk the ire of the faithful in Gainesville. I see more of a program, an overall football program that is kind of in disarray in Gainesville and has been for a while, than at LSU. At LSU, I don't see a football program that's in disarray. I see a guy who maybe wasn't the right person to lead it. He's a good football coach. Sometimes the fit just doesn't work, and I just don't think this did. And it's not because he would fake a Cajun accent, or it wasn't. It just, sometimes it just doesn't work. So with LSU, I don't know that they have to go make the big name hire. Obviously, you'd love to have a great name because it energizes your fan base and it loosens those checkbooks a little bit. But if they go get somebody like a Joe Brady or somebody that's kind of on the come up, who's got a good offensive mindset and background about him, has a little tie to LSU, I think that can be as beneficial for LSU, where I think Florida needs to swing bigger.
Yeah. Now, Jeff, being the LSU fan, hearing what he's saying about that, do you believe that the big hire is important enough that they will swing for the fences for like a Gruden name? Or do you think that the level heads are going to prevail and they're going to try to figure out what they need specifically for their school instead of just throwing a big name and trying to get that big splash? Because if you think about what Florida has done, they've went to the smaller markets, grabbed the coach, and it didn't work out. Mm-hmm. Do you think they learned from Florida, or do you think they kind of take their own route and say, we're not Florida, we're LSU, and we're going to do what we want to do?
Yeah, I think we're a little more hard-headed. We don't learn from other people's situations. No, seriously.
I believe you.
You know? I do think there's only one lesson, really, I kind of learned from Brian Kelly, other than, there's other little ones, but You have to have coaches underneath you that can sell you to the players.
True.
Because I think them losing the locker room, losing the sidelines, the players, that is, it wasn't just the players in their mind that they had lost confidence in their own coach. It was the coaches underneath Brian Kelly that basically just didn't care what the players thought of Brian Kelly, if you get what I mean. Like, there's position coaches, you know, and they're the ones that they just really didn't care to worship Brian Kelly and sell him to the players. They were worried about just training the person for their position and not really being a part of, you know, the whole, I don't even know how to explain it, worshiping Brian Kelly.
Yeah.
And him not taking responsibility was hurtful, not just to players, but to the position coaches.
To the point, though, both programs, and quite frankly, every program that's out there, should talk to everybody.
Yes.
I mean, they should. I mean, just because we think LSU might be tailor fit to a couple of people better doesn't mean they shouldn't call Lane Kiffin, shouldn't call John Gruden, shouldn't call Urban Meyer, shouldn't call anybody.
Right.
They should talk to everybody and see. But I just happen to think LSU, to me, doesn't need to go the same path Florida does.
Yeah, and that name itself lends its weight with all of these guys. And that's the thing. Just want to read some of these comments that we've gotten on the Facebook. You know, Steve Gallo says that a Mississippi State fan that was actually in the stands said that he didn't say that he said, I run this stuff. Okay. And then Stephen did agree with you. He said it'd be more important thing is the right hire. But that's not always
It always is. It just rarely is done in any walk of life.
And then, you know, you got to think about this year's Florida versus LSU game. The implications of it is kind of, you know, sideways, and that's what one of the listeners was talking about, and that's
how long before that game's called the Kiffin Bowl, by the way.
I don't know. Who knows?
Right now?
Yeah, like today. But when you look at, you know, bringing in these guys, I agree. I thought for sure, and, you know, just by talking to Steve and even listening to him, I figured that the Tulane coach would come up. But I agree with you. I don't see little brother coming over and being able to do that. I don't think they'd do that.
And I've seen number one, the best odds was Summerall, and I was like, what in the world? And in top 20, okay, no Willie Fritz, no Cliff Kingsbury at all.
Yeah.
Yeah. Nick Saban, by the way, was tied for 20th.
That's right.
That's the odds. Yeah. And that's not even going to happen.
Yeah, they better keep their hands away from him. He'd make me be very upset if Nick Saban was to go there. But I do, I think that if Brady or even another coordinator, I don't believe the Detroit Lions coordinator is going to come. I don't see that at all. I agree with
that
Brian.
Job for what, 8 games?
Yeah, it's only been just a little while, so I don't think he's going to leave that. I could see.
Brent Key was in there.
The Brent Key is the person that I was going to say biggest opportunity right there with what he's done at Georgia Tech. He's a Saban guy. He is an offensive line guy, which you could still get your coordinators in. I don't think he's one of those coaches like that's a splash, but I think he's a big enough wave that it would be like kind of like what Mike Elko has done to A&M. He come from Duke. He come over. It took him a year or two to get kind of acclimated, and now you see what he's putting on the field. And that's the kind of coach I think LSU could go after as a Brent Key guy.
Vanderbilt has not offered an extension to Clark Lee?
No.
That is crazy. How in the world? What are they doing? Do they just not want to ever be a football school ever again after this year?
I think they tie him into being a Vanderbilt guy. So
I will say, I don't know how much this plays in. I know we got to go to a break here quick, but the Vanderbilt situation is different. They don't technically have an athletic department. No. They actually have a provost who runs it. Now, they run it like an athletic director, but it's very different. So that may be tied into why they don't do things a certain way. They may also be smart and say, we're not doing these 10-year deals to people. Look what happens. So they are pretty smart up there.
Stingy, though, on the money, on the wallet. Because it's funny, because if you look at endowment, guess what? Vanderbilt's up there.
They're in
but
there.
they don't spend money on football.
They don't spend it on athletics.
No, they don't.
No. And there's a bunch of other schools like that.
Either way, we're going to take our break, and when we come back, we're going to discuss more of this coaching carousel. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Get in the game. Call or text us now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
Lane Kiffin will have the edge. Then having the opportunity to go into a school and look a kid across the counter and tell him, you come to the University of Florida, you'll get the opportunity to start right now, first day. So you'll see Lane Kiffin being able to come into the state of Florida immediately and have the impact of 5 stars that are in the state of Florida.
The Sports Blitz.
Live and local, weekdays, 4 to 6.
ESPN Northwest Florida.
This is Joanna with your latest forecast on ESPN Northwest Florida this Monday. The rest of the day, mostly sunshine and 80 with a gentle breeze at 11 miles per hour out of the west-northwest. Tonight, some clouds with lows around 62. Tomorrow, partly sunny with a gentle breeze and a temperature near 72. Moving into Wednesday, about the same with a high of 71 and partly sunny and sprinkling. This forecast is brought to you by Earthworks of Northwest Florida. Thank you for keeping that dial at ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Hewitt Tire and Auto has been in business in Panama City forever. Locals taking care of locals. From the smallest to the largest vehicles, they do it all. But don't take my word for it. Listen to the experts.
Hewitt Tire and Auto, your certified AAA service center and hometown towing.
Visit them online at HewittTire.com.
On Airport Road in Panama City.
850-769-7323. Hewitt Tire and Auto Center and hometown towing.
WVLQ Port St. Joe, WGSX Lynn, powered by Panama City Toyota.
ESPN, Northwest Florida.
Are you looking for a place to take a leak? Do you have a truck, tractor, or other hydraulic equipment leaking or not performing as it should? At Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, we can get you back to work. Do you have a bus that are leaking hose, hydraulic cylinder or pump needing repair? If competitive pricing and a quick turnaround are what matter to your business, come see us at Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, or you can give us a call at 850-326-3000. Reliable Hydraulic Solutions, 6840 Highway 77 in Southport, the best place in town to take a leak.
Broadcasting from the CBC Construction Studios. On this show, we don't hold back. We react, we dissect, and we tell it like it is. You're locked into the truth. You're locked into the Sports Blitz. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
It's 5 o'clock on a Monday. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in. You can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. We are having a blast talking about this coaching carousel that's going on everywhere, whether it's the Big Ten, Pac-12, SEC, everywhere. It is going on. It's happening. Sunbelt, all of it. As always, on Monday, Brian had it with us. Jeffrey in the building. Jim and Jimmy crushing the ones and the twos. When we look at the Florida job, though, we've got to think more and more that they are going all in on Lane Kiffin. I don't think they even care about what Ole Miss is trying to offer. I don't think they care about what LSU is looking at now. I think they are Lane Kiffin or bust, because when you look at these other guys that's been brought up, the only one that would make sense to me, and like you said about the Urban Meyer job coming in, is that 3, possibly 4 years of Urban Meyer, and that's going to be it. And talking to some of the Florida people, they are okay with that, which we've discussed that in depth. But Lane Kiffin, to me, it just seems like it. Why make a clarification? Why come back in and say anything about it? Why come in and have a players-only meeting about your future when obviously, unless he's just trying to keep those guys focused and make them be ready to try to make a run for the playoffs?
No, I think that's exactly what it is, because he understands his guys are completely enveloped by social media.
Oh,
All kids are.
All of them.
So you have to do that now. There's no putting it down once and then that's it. No, you need to continually address it, because there's constantly new stuff out there from experts who know when hardly any of them do. So, no, I think he has to do that. Now, for Florida, yes, that needs to be their absolute number one priority, because I do think he is the best candidate that's out there for their job. Now, that being said, if they don't get him, the problem really won't be that they won't find a good football coach, because there are some other people who've been mentioned with that job who I think would do an excellent job at Florida. The problem would be the psyche of the Florida job being turned down by somebody. I'm going to give you an example. You'll remember this. Alabama fans lost their mind when Dennis Franchione left to go to Texas A&M. Why? It wasn't because they were that enamored. He had done a decent job, but they weren't that enamored. It was the idea that somebody would willingly leave the University of Alabama, not to retire, that they couldn't wrap their heads around. And I'm worried about that a little with Florida, that if they go calling for a guy and that guy rejects them, that will be a hard thing to take. That, wait a minute, we view ourselves as a top destination, a top 5 program, a top 10 program. How we view ourselves. I know that gets into another conversation we could have, but that's a tough thing for the fan base to take. And my long-winded point here is that don't freak out if you don't get a Lane Kiffin, because there actually are a lot of candidates out there who I think that would love to take that job, who will do a good job there.
And that's why I believe that this job is a top 10 job, even though you still don't. Have we moved the pendulum for you at all in saying that this job is a top 10 job at Florida?
Not what you say. Well, I've been digging a little more into what the nuts and the numbers say. And, it really has actually put a dent in my thoughts on Oklahoma and a little bit on Penn State, just a little bit, but not much. And I think that Tennessee is right there with Florida also. And so if you drop 2 teams out, and I had Florida at 13, if I drop Penn State and who was the other?
USC.
Oklahoma.
And Oklahoma.
USC, you can forget it. It ain't happening. It ain't happening.
Okay.
Yeah.
But, I mean, you would put them in 11?
You have no West Coast teams if you drop, because Oregon's up there too.
Yeah, Oregon's in.
But and that was another thing I was shocked at. I looked up the endowment for Oregon. It wasn't even top 50 in public. I'm not even talking about private.
Right.
They weren't even in the top. Oregon wasn't in the top 50. It was Oklahoma that wasn't in the top 50. But when I looked at the endowment and saw how much less it was than the Florida Gators, I was shocked, because I was always told Nike money, Nike money, Nike money. Well, guess what? Ain't a lot of it, apparently. It's because the endowment's not that high.
It's not all money. It's the cool factor.
Yeah, it's the culture to all of that. Yeah, so that plays to them. But you gotta
but your number one thing that you always say about the Gators is, they're recruiting. They're in Florida. They're the second best state in the nation as far as recruits go, because Texas is number 1. I'll tell you right now, it's king. All the numbers I pulled out, it's like, dang. I mean, Texas has got it, and it's so many different positions. Mm-hmm. But for the last 3 years, Florida Gators have been 13th, and 7th in recruiting.
Mm-hmm.
And if you average out those 3 years, they're tied for 9th in recruiting. So if your best thing says that you're tied for 9th with Notre Dame for recruiting, and that's the best you can do, It's not saying a whole lot that you're really top 10.
Yeah, but it's got to do with your guy. Obviously, he has got some stars coming over there, and that's the other part of being able to pull from this big state of Texas that you're talking about. Because you got to look at Texas as a whole. Look at what Texas has done, and you would think, well, Texas, the University of Texas, the Longhorns run that state. Yeah. But if you look at all of the NFL quarterbacks that are right now that did not go to Texas but was in the state of Texas, Kyler Murray. Why are you laughing?
Because I'm just thinking about all the Oklahoma quarterbacks. It's a crazy amount of Oklahoma quarterbacks.
Right.
And we were talking about recruiting, and then that's what kills your whole story as far as being above Oklahoma. Yeah. I mean, that just cuts your throat right there. Well, we're not even talking about recruiting on that one. Look at all the NFL quarterbacks from Oklahoma.
They didn't all recruit.
Crazy.
They didn't all recruit them out of high school.
They got them.
They got them in the transfer portal. They got them all in the transfer portal. They got them from. They got more quarterbacks from the College of Texas Tech than they did their own high schools.
Yeah, probably. Yeah, I'm sure.
You know who they did get back in the day? Troy Aikman.
Oh yeah, Troy Aikman.
But he was
a UCLA guy.
But he had to leave, or he had to come. Well, he come from UCLA, or he went to UCLA because he couldn't get along with Barry Switzer.
Well, he wasn't going to be a top-notch quarterback around the wishbone.
Exactly. He wanted to throw the ball.
That's right.
Yeah,
and you can't throw the ball at Oklahoma. You hand off the ball.
That's right. And that's the thing. And you got to know that when you've got somebody like Brent Venables there, who's a defensive coach, he's going to have more of the defensive-minded recruits, unless you have some splasher guys.
Well, or unless you have a Jeff Lebby as an offensive coordinator. That's how they were able to attract Dylan Gabriel, and that's how they were able to recruit Jackson Arnold, who was seen as a top prospect. We've seen it hasn't worked
at the time.
out for him.
So let's go over this. The 8 teams above Florida, who are they going to leap over as far as the recruiting goes? Because, I mean, you've got... Let's see.
Well, it really matters who you got as your head coach. Now, if you say you got Lane Kiffin coming there, I told you, like on Friday,
That's a game changer.
The pendulum will shift, and Miami and Florida State won't even get their top players.
But it's not just that. It's the notion of Lane Kiffin with a talent like a DJ Lagway that will recruit you so many running backs and linemen and receivers
right.
and
tight ends, all of those. It'll be all across the board. And that's really what the deal is. That's why I'm saying with the history of Florida, it always depends on the coach, because we've seen years where those teams have not been top notch because of the coaching. So when you do get
Miami Hurricanes.
Like the Hurricanes. Yeah. But when you get those type of coaches in those positions, you can say what you want, but they're top 10 now with that marriage of Kiffin or Urban Meyer or even a Marcus Freeman, which I know he's not coming, but I'm just saying those type of number guys that everybody looks to, that's how Florida is a top 10 job because of that. And then you look at what the state of Florida produces in high school talent, and that's why I say that that's the top 10. With the right guy there, Florida's top 10 all the way. Whereas LSU, they're going to run the state of Louisiana, no doubt. Yeah. And they're close to Texas, but you go and get you a mid-major guy, and you'll see what they get rankings as far as when they start recruiting as well.
Yeah, because even the worst coach at LSU still got good players. He just couldn't coach them.
He couldn't coach them. And then with the portal like it is, they will move away.
I don't even think high school recruiting is regional anymore. I mean, it just isn't.
Yeah. It's not.
There's not a stigma to that. I'm one who thinks the Penn State job is a very, very good job. It might be a top 5 job. I really think so.
Okay, I would disagree on top 5.
I understand that.
Yeah,
it's close.
You said it was top 10 at the beginning.
I'd need to lay it out, but it's at least in the conversation. The same way I feel Florida, the only reason I might cop to Florida being a top 10 job is they might be 10. I think they're more likely 11 to 15 in my mind.
So the problem I had with Penn State is that the endowment is number 10. As far as public universities go. So I'm throwing out USC, Miami, and Notre Dame. Okay.
They've shown a
so they're number 10, which is actually a lot of money.
Right.
And if I told you Penn State's endowment was 40 or 50% higher than the Gators, would you say that was surprising?
Yeah, but I mean, are we talking about that as directed to research?
See, that's the problem. NIL, what do you call it? The payouts,
disbursements, and the
yes, is not the same because we look at Vanderbilt, and that's
but also
exact
keep in mind the Big
that.
Ten is about to draw $15 million more a year than the SEC based on this new deal, and if they sign the next deal, which they're already talking about with streaming, we're talking about $1 billion plus into the conference. And Penn State, here's why I think they're so good. They have shown a willingness to spend money on the program. They've also shown a willingness to give the person that they choose time to implement their plan.
Yeah.
That's why I think it's a good job. If you're a coach and I see, you just fired James Franklin, but you gave him 11 years, that's an attractive job to me versus someone that, like, I love Alabama, but God, they were ready to fire DeBoer after 5 weeks.
One game.
So the problem I had with Penn State was this one, and it was because I dug into the rankings on the recruiting. Last 3 years for Penn State, 14th, 15th, and 15th in recruiting.
Right.
That's not top 10.
Right. It's not.
They might have the money sitting there. Are you using it? Are you using it for the transfer portal? What are you doing with the money? You're just going to let it sit there?
Yeah.
And be number 15th?
We're going to put that on the shelf for just a second. We're going to take a call. We've got Edward on the phone here at, about 5:15. What's going on, Edward?
Hey, what's going on, y'all? How y'all doing?
Good, buddy. How are you, man?
Good, man. Today I'm not going to talk about the Dodgers, but I got one for y'all.
All right.
All right, man. Hey, y'all heard about Scatterboo getting injured, right?
Yeah. Yes. Terrible.
You know what? Honestly, that injury, I think it might be good for him to take a breather and let his brain and let his body heal for a little bit, man. Because that dude there's videos of him putting his head through walls and all this stuff. And I think, honestly, man, this guy could have CTE later on in life.
No, that's a serious thing. You know, that's one of the reasons why people love him so much is because he reminds them of the old school player that just ducks his head and will run into anybody and anything, and that's kind of his game. And it was unfortunate to see him, be like that because his foot was facing the other way. If you saw the video or the pictures. And that just stinks for them on this young team that they're all trying to, kind of come up.
I think he's. I think he's too active. I think he's gonna get hurt, and it's gonna be so huge that he won't be able to play anymore. And I really didn't like the fact that he stuck his head inside of the tent when Jackson Dart went out for concussion protocol. I really didn't like that look, not just for the coach, but for Scatterboo also.
Yeah, man. I honestly think this guy, he's a good player, very active, entertaining. But long-term, dude, I really think the guy, if he keeps going the way he's going to go, 100 miles an hour, he's going to have CTE, and he's just going to have some long-term issues, in a short career. Short career, long-term issues.
Yeah, I agree with you. The injury, obviously, you never want anybody whose job is made on placing their foot in the ground and cutting to have any kind of knee or ankle issue because that can be as debilitating. Yep. But for his quality of life and length of it, you're right. I would really hope that instead of, using an injury as a way to, and I'm not saying you're happy he got injured. I'm just saying what should have happened is the veterans should have got around him and just said, dude, we love your energy, but, you gotta be smart about this now. You gotta have a career here. We're gonna do 17 of these, and if we get in the playoffs, which doesn't look like they are, but if we do, we're gonna have more of these. So pace yourself. It was what Magic Johnson said about his first game, and Kareem hits the game-winning shot of game one, and he's jumping all over him, and he's like, kid, there's 82 of these. You need to settle down.
Could he be the modern version of John Riggins?
In a way. I mean, he plays a similar kind of game. Franco Harris, similar type of backs. He reminds me of that with like Gronk's mindset, though.
Yeah.
He's just kind of nuts. He'll go into anything.
Napoleon.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, this reckless abandonment of playing football is his style of play. And that's honestly, though, that's his fan base. The fans love it, and they love him for that.
But it's like the quarterback who wants to run, and instead of running out of bounds, he'll try and dip that shoulder and go in. You say, I love your spirit, but, dude, you can't do this. We need you to. So that's what I mean about the veterans kind of getting in there and just, helping him with that.
Yeah, RG3 was inspiring, but we know what happened.
That's right.
Yep.
That's right.
All right. Last thing I got to say real quick, go Dodgers. Good luck tonight. Game 3. We're taking it, baby.
There you go.
Edward, thank you for the call, man. We appreciate you all the time, man. Have a good rest of your night.
Remember what I said before Game 1? I said the Blue Jays really need to win this first game, and they took to them.
They did.
Came back.
Because they had been, I love the teams that have recently played. I thought there could be a scenario whereby the Blue Jays won Game 1 and then lost the next 4.
Ooh.
And it very well could be
Yeah,
that.
it could be. Yeah.
But part of that is my notion of I am not sending that trophy to Canada ever again in my life.
Man.
I don't want to do it. 93 is still too soon.
Yeah.
You hate the neighbor to the north?
James knows. That trophy does not go to Canada.
No, this
USA.
is our trophy. We keep it here.
That's
the
right.
World Series is America. The world is America, man.
Thank you.
That's
we need
right.
to leave it right
Even
here.
though this is the World Series matchup I picked, and I did actually pick the Toronto Blue Jays to win it.
Communist.
I didn't want them to win it. I just said I believe they're going to win it just because of the way they hit the baseball. And they've got no way, no possible way. This is not a political show. I do not stand for the values of Trudeau, just so you know. Either way.
He is dating Katy Perry now.
Yeah,
Something to be said for
Yeah, that's true.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh, my goodness. I do not listen to the Kardashian news and all this other stupid news.
But getting
All right, let's come back.
Here, we're going to bring it back since he did this.
apologize.
But look at what Stephen Gallo said, that's a par record. Billy went under 500 during his tenure. Imagine what Florida could be when they're rolling. And that's what he was talking about getting the state of Florida back, and then the concept of being able to control the portal and get those NIL guys to come in. Because the thing that keeps just glaring in my mind, and I keep hearing it, is the $70 million more that Florida has than Ole Miss, as far as being able to get to that money.
But if you look at NIL
quicker.
spending, Ole Miss has outspent Florida.
They have, but that's because of the coach. If you swap coaches and get him there, I think he spends that kind of money at Florida, and then that Florida team is going to be just like the Steve Spurrier team of the 90s.
I think it's hard to really track where the true money is in this game. I think people who think Ole Miss doesn't have money are thinking about state limits and things on state employees and salary and this, that, or the other. I'm telling you, there's a lot of money pouring into football at Ole Miss as it relates to players.
I agree with you.
And they're very organized.
I just do not see them being able to keep up. I just don't.
It's because they have not been a traditional power the way Florida has over the last 30 years.
Right.
That's what it is. It's all clouded in that mindset. And I'm not saying Florida's in real trouble. I do think they're in a bit of disarray. But I think people are casting Ole Miss aside way too easily, and that is painful for me to say as a Mississippi State graduate. But they've got their ducks in a row right now.
They do. But
hey,
who knows?
$70 million is chump change. You know how I was saying earlier about Florida and Penn State's endowment difference? Mm-hmm. It wasn't 40 or 50%. It wasn't 70 or 80% difference. It was 96% difference. Yeah. Penn State's endowment is almost double of Florida. It's a difference between $2.4 billion
just remember,
and $4.7 billion.
Stanford's entire athletic program is completely endowed, and they haven't done much other than, unfortunately, beat Florida State. But other than that, they haven't really done that much.
And bringing Andrew Luck back.
There you go.
But either way, we've got to go to a break. And when we come
do you know
back,
the coach is?
Yeah.
Frank Reich.
Yeah. When we come back, PCB Hobby Takeover. You're listening to the Sports Blitz at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Reach out and smack someone. Call or text now. 850-215-6290. The Red 17 Studio Line. ESPN Northwest Florida. Here's what's happening.
Coming up on October 31st, it's the Cal G Squires inaugural golf tournament benefiting the Angel House Bereavement Center, the only provider of clinical grief counseling in Bay County. Costumes are encouraged for this fun day at Bay Point. Prizes for a hole-in-one, longest drive, closest to the pin, and best costume. To register you or your team, go to angelhousebci.org.
Good evening. This is Joanna on ESPN Northwest Florida with Monday's weather forecast. Partly cloudy tonight with a low near 62 and a wind 5 to 10 miles per hour. Some clouds tomorrow morning, a gentle breeze and a temperature of 67. Slightly hotter in the afternoon and evening around 73 with mostly sunshine. A mixture of mostly sunshine and light rain Wednesday and warm around 71. This forecast is sponsored by Mid-South Lumber, the best little lumber yard in Panama City. Thank you for listening to ESPN Northwest Florida. Rely on it.
Looking for dependable civil construction in the Florida Panhandle? CBC Construction has you covered. From land clearing and drainage to roads and underground utilities, CBC delivers high-quality work on time and on budget. Locally owned and operated, CBC is trusted by schools, developers, and municipalities. To learn more, call CBC Construction 850-740-3815 or visit cbcconstruction.com. That's cbcconstruction.com.
With over 4 decades in business, Instant Replay Sports Cards is happy to take your collection to the next level. All new hobby boxes, signed memorabilia and supplies, new and vintage cards, and Pokemon. Buy, sell, and trade. They're an authorized source for Topps, Panini, Upper Deck, and Leaf cards. Instant Replay Sports Cards inside the Stanford Station on 23rd Street next to Academy Sports. Come see the bigger store and the larger inventory or visit online, instantReplaySportsCards.com.
Kevin Harlan here for Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner from Arrowhead in Kansas City when the Chiefs take on the Commanders. Patrick Mahomes and a resurgent Kansas City have moved to 4-3 on the season with back-to-back wins. Now they face a 3-4 Washington team dealing with injuries. Don't miss it on Monday Night Football.
Commanders at Chiefs. Monday Night Football coverage starts at 6. Kickoff at 7:15 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Transmitting from the CBC Construction Studio. It's go time all the time. Sports talk around the clock.
Oh my God!
The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson here at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget you can call in. You can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. Also, don't forget, we are your coverage for Monday Night Football tonight. After the show, 7:15 kickoff, 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. This is one of the favorite things to do on Monday, and that is to talk to Todd, the captain from PCB Hobby. How you doing, Todd?
Happy Monday, everybody. As always, we're here.
Yeah, pumped up and ready to go.
Pumped up and ready to go.
Let's talk about the weekend. You told me to go out there when those cards came out, and I did what you said. I bought a jumbo pack of the basketball, and so the story goes like this. I'm sitting there, we buy it, we go over there, we get it, and I let my wife pick out which box to pick.
That was smart.
We had 4 boxes. She picked number 3 because that was my son's number when he first started playing baseball. I said, well, you know what? That's Babe Ruth. So we're going to get the big one in this one. And so she's been wanting to open this box this whole time. And we had a family reunion, so we had some time where I was away from the box, so I didn't have to worry about opening the box. And then so I said, well, you know what? Let's text Brian. He knows about it all. And she said, okay, we'll text Brian. So I text Brian, Todd, and Brian comes back with, open it. It's going to be so much fun. Let's do it. And I'm like,
not how I said it, but I
So
did say to open.
Very rarely do I chime in about opening or non-opening because I am the first guy that will get high on his own supply.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding. No. I wouldn't open it. Let me tell you why. It's the flagship product that just came out for the first time in years and years and years. I wouldn't open it because I believe that if you hold it long enough, it will gain a lot of value. Here's a number 2 thing, and I typically rarely ever comment on boxes and opening and what product's good, what product's not, and all that kind of stuff. The streamers that we've been having stream the product have said it's not that great. Don't get confused. It's not that great opening right now. It's not exciting. It's not, oh my gosh, did you see the 101 get hit or this and that? That's not what this product's about. What this product will be about is you'll have the very first of certain players that in 2 years, 3 years, 4 years will be hot.
You know what's interesting about it is
that's where the market is on this.
Because we've become so accustomed to
Flash.
The stuff coming out at the end or even after the end of the season, the rookies are built in like who's great, so you know what you're doing. We're back to now. We got this like the day the season started. We're not sure yet. Like Edgecombe had a good game. And so there is a little bit of weirdness when you're pulling. There's not as much craziness over.
There's not.
I got this player because we don't know if they've developed.
Not right now. Now, here's what's really going to be hard on you. Later this year, someone's going to hit, and it's going to be in that product.
Oh, yeah.
Everyone's going to be like, oh, my God, you got that product. Open it. Ah.
Yeah.
And you may want to open it then, because if you hit, you're going to make a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
However, are you in it for the money, or are you in it for the fun, or what are you in it for? And that's your question. That's not our question, and I can't tell you what to do. But would I open it today? Absolutely not. So, wifey, take a seat. I'm sorry.
That's right. And just know, so you guys know, let's just go ahead and put this out here. We've got hundreds, if not thousands, of baseball cards and basketball cards and football cards in my house that we can have fun with. This is not about fun. This is Jerry Maguire, baby. Show me the money.
That's it.
And that's what I want to do.
And so, again, if you want to go open something, go buy a couple packs of this or that or whatever.
That's fair.
And open something. You know, if that's the fun to you know, the wife or the kids or whatever. But in this case, I would keep this sealed until you actually find out. And it's called prospecting, and I would prospect on this product if I were you. If you bought a box, it's still sealed, prospect away. Just wait. Wait and see.
And just for the listeners, you know, the way that Paul characterized my text response to him, which, by the way, anyone who's ever received a text from me knows I don't text that way. Here's exactly what I said. Probably open.
Exactly. That sounds like a Brian text right there.
Yeah, it was.
I've texted Brian probably 3 times, maybe, because usually I just get sure.
Thumbs up.
Thumbs up.
I'm not,
I don't know how to do that stuff.
I'm not trying to throw anybody here on the bus, but I did text somebody else too about it, and
you're lucky you got his number.
I don't even think I got the. I don't even think I got the reply.
That's a fun thing, you know.
He's got a captain the ship.
Let's find out when this text came through.
10 o'clock at night.
It was.
It was.
What are you doing, Paul?
It was late. It was late because
I was excited.
He even apologized
goodness.
and said, "Would you mind holding me a box? I couldn't get over there." And I'm thinking, okay, hold off. 10 o'clock at night. First of all, we're not even open. So what am I going to do? He knows I don't work at retail.
That's too funny.
No, it was 9 o'clock. It was 9 o'clock. Is 9 o'clock okay? Is that better than 10 o'clock?
Was it 9:15?
No, it was 9 on the dot.
What
okay, then you're okay. You're good.
What day was it?
I don't know. I think 9 is the cutoff.
Honestly, I can't remember what day it was.
It was on a Wednesday.
It was on a Wednesday?
Yeah.
It was 9 o'clock on a Wednesday.
9 o'clock.
I know why.
It didn't release till Thursday.
I know. I was trying to get a box.
I know why. I know why. We just started, and this actually will play into what I was going to say. We just started our streaming Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night on Vintage Comics.
That's right.
On top of our normal stream. So we're actually doing 2 streams Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday night. So tonight, when I'm done here, I'm going to go back over and we're going to stream Vintage Comics. My point is I was in the middle of streaming when he texted me at 9. I didn't get done till 11. Would that have been right? To text him at 11?
No.
It would not have been.
I just he goes to bed at 9, something.
Number 2.
9:15. No, you do.
Number 2, he said he was going to come the next day. So I was like, okay, well, then it's problem solved.
And I had one held for you.
Yeah, I asked, and they said, well, I don't know where he put it, but either way, but we got it. So that's the best thing.
Anyways, so I didn't want to be rude. So everybody knows I'm not a rude guy.
No, he's not. He's not a rude guy. He's here.
But you're right. Sometimes I don't text people back, specifically people who I don't think are very important.
Oh,
What?
Wow.
I'm surprised he didn't say who dis.
That's it. New phone.
No, he said who his name was, and that's where I set my phone down. I'm just teasing, Paul.
So how much?
I was in the middle of streaming.
How much was the box that you bought?
Yeah, how much was the box?
It was $430.
Was it $430? That was beautiful. I'm telling you. And sit on that, because if you hit a rookie that goes hot in that product, you'll easily, that box will go up to $1,000.
And
I'm
Todd,
not kidding.
Cover your ears for this. We are actually under market on that product.
Yeah.
Wow.
Even though, again, the breakers aren't liking it because it doesn't have a lot of pizzazz in it. You got to understand, these breakers, all they want to do is open cards that are 101s or uptowns, downtowns, whatever the heck you call them. You know, they want the pizzazz, the bang, the boom, you know, stuff like that. This is not that. Tops usually isn't that.
This is a collecting product.
This is a collecting, just same
With
type
some
of
hits.
thing. But again, the reason why Bowman Chrome gets such a good A+ is because they always come out after the season and or during the end of the season.
That's right.
So the bang with that is that the rookies have already hit. And so you know what you're going to get if you get a good one. So that, again, when you open those packs and you're like, oh, no, we just got a Fernando Venezuela, blah, 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 blah.
Yeah.
You know, it can go wild. Well, in Tops, I mean, these rookies are brand new. Nobody knows yet.
Yeah.
Right? And so that's the difference.
Yeah, you probably can't.
Right now, it's Cooper Flag or bust.
That's what I was going to say. Nobody can name anybody but Cooper Flag.
And that's unfair.
But there's going to be 5, 6, 7 others.
And then you've got the Wemby stuff that's going to be in there. That's his first
Do
time.
I have to say one name? Kobe Bryant.
Yeah.
Do I have to say another name? Tom Brady.
Yeah.
None of these guys were Mike Trout. None of these guys came out as round one, you know.
Well,
top
Kobe was
prospect.
Kobe
pretty
was
good.
pretty good.
Yeah, but still, you know, and his card never really went. I mean, you could get Kobe rookies for $10. I mean, they made so
Kurt
many of them.
Warner.
Kurt Warner. There
Oh,
you
my
go.
goodness, yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So my point is that you got to wait it out a little bit.
That's fair.
Yeah.
And if you're going to keep it sealed, keep it sealed. Just do
keep
it.
it sealed. And then if I want to get some breakers or even, you know, something smaller.
If you want to do something smaller, just go buy a pack or two.
And there's
Yeah.
blasters.
You know?
There's packs.
blasters.
There's
right.
hobby. You can do it.
That's what I would do. I'd go buy a blaster for $50 or $40 or whatever they are, $75,
35,
30, 35 bucks,
Yeah.
and I'd bring a couple home, one for the kids, one for the wife. Say, go to town.
Yeah, and which
and
my
you
wife
still might get a Cooper flag.
Yeah,
So-
and the thing is like while we were checking out, there's a cylinder there. I don't think my son's listening, but there's a cylinder there that had
with
some,
packs. Yeah.
and she was like, "Oh, Christmas idea right there." So we grabbed another, you know, and that's the thing about your store is that it's not just for the collector. It's not just for, you know, trying to turn and make money in investments,
That's it.
but it's also for the fun and
it is the
and
fun.
looking. And my kid, he was running through looking at all of your 25-cent cards or your dollar cards
Oh,
or
we
your
have tons
$2
of them.
cards and just picking them up. And
There's
my
nothing
wife,
wrong with that.
Let me tell you this quick story. It's funny because my wife, she goes over there and she just randomly grabs a card and just picks it up out of one of the boxes that's the dollar cards. Mark Sanchez. She was like, whoa, pre-stab.
Oh, wow.
Mark Sanchez. So there you go. That was just crazy. I was just like, whoa, put the card down. I got to go home with you.
That's funny. Anyways, yeah. So we do have a lot of product like that and a lot of things that a lot of inventory that's available. So again, you know, collect what you love, collect what you like, and have a good time with it. And it's the same with comic books. It's the same with coins, with TCGs. You know, we have everything that you can possibly imagine, and that's what's beautiful about the shop. So thank you so much for coming by and buying a box. We appreciate the you doing that and helping support you know, our community of the hobby. On top of that, though, I actually was gone this weekend, so I really couldn't have helped you out anyways, because I was actually physically gone. I went down to South Florida and picked up more comic books. Like I need more comic books.
Yeah, of course.
Anyways,
He can't help himself.
I ended up bringing the trailer, and I can't. And I ended up bringing my wife. She wanted to come with me. I was like, absolutely, let's go. And so Weefei and me ended up down in Boca Raton and picked up a bunch of comic books, picked up several collections along the way. We stayed in Orlando one night, stayed down there one night, and then came back yesterday. So it's been a long weekend, but we got a lot done and brought a lot back, which was really cool. And again, that's some of the reason why we're doing Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday nights is because we're selling a lot of this vintage stuff that we're getting.
Yeah.
And when I say vintage, we're basically 1985 and older. So you got Bronze Age, which is 1985 to 1970, and then you got 1969 part of 70 and down to, I think it's 56 is Silver Age, and then Golden Age is 56 and older. Anyways, we're getting a lot of cool stuff like that.
You know how I feel about vintage incorporating the 80s. That's just not sitting right
I know.
with me.
You know what's
you guys
funny,
are
though?
old, though.
You know what's funny, though?
Fair enough.
If you think about it, 1985,
I got
40 years.
I know.
I say it on the stream all the time. Guys, this is a Bronze Age book. 40 plus years old. And when you say it that way, people actually think about that and
That's
go,
right.
huh.
That's right.
That is pretty old.
Well, Back to the Future when they went to the future.
Right. You know what I'm saying? And so it's kind of like one of those things where it's like, I know now that we're getting older, Brian and I mean, it's like, wow, 40 years. Yeah, I'm older than 40 years old now. And for sure, I'm vintage. I get it. But darn, some of these books survived and they're nice.
Yeah.
Like they're nice condition. So you get to show them on the screen and stuff like that, which plays into, selling coins on stream, opening the packs on stream, the cards and things like that. It's really cool to be able to see what you got right then or see what you're buying right then.
Yeah.
And that's what you're almost bringing the store to them. And
Yeah,
so
that's
when you
cool.
go in the store and your kid's sitting there looking at the cards in the case, they actually get to preview and see and touch what potentially they might want to buy right then.
Well, I got to say, since you were in, and certainly I don't think you're even aware of this yet, we've gotten through a lot of the stuff from the Denver deal.
Oh, really?
And we bought a big collection of Florida State autographed material and things. So we actually we've just rolled it out in the last day or two, a lot of memorabilia pieces. We have some autographed pictures of like Cam Akers and Bobby Bowden and people like that. We are actually working on one that's got Bobby Bowden and Urban Meyer both autographed, them shaking hands at midfield of the Florida game.
That's nice.
We've got stuff like that. Then we also have some old hats like Albert Pujols that he wore in the home run derby and autographed years ago. We have a Tom Selleck Detroit Tigers hat. There's just tons and tons of hats, shirts, pants, bats we're working on. Baseballs galore, over 200 autographed baseballs.
I think I saw the stack there.
So we're going to have a lot of that some of it's already out in the shop for people to look at, and that's stuff we haven't done a whole lot with in the past. We're trying to grow it a little bit, so that's some new stuff. If you're interested in that, definitely come, especially if you're an FSU fan. We have a lot of FSU.
That's huge to have, I think, because some people aren't card people. Some people don't want to store them. They don't want to put them up, but they want to have the bats and the jerseys and the hats and that kind of stuff.
Well,
so
we've been buying a lot of coins over the counter too.
Yeah.
Apparently, a lot of collections have been coming in, and it's crazy. I always tell people the coin business is very interesting. Whether silver and gold are going up or silver and gold are going down, that's when the market is flowing.
That's right.
It's up or down. If it's stagnant, like silver's just $40 an ounce. It's been $40 an ounce last month, and it's $40 an ounce this month. Not a lot gets traded. You know what I mean? It just kind of is what it is. People may need money or whatever. But when it's going up or when it's going down, there's either fear or FOMO, and it's crazy. And the stuff just comes through the door. So we had to go way up. Got as high as $54 an ounce silver, highest ever been, ever. And now it's back down to 46. That's an $8 swing both ways in the last week and a half, which is crazy, but it's been coming out of the woodwork. People selling, buying, speculating, I mean, you name it. And so we've gotten a lot of really cool collections in, a lot of really cool coins. So if you're a coin collector, come in too, because we have a lot of new material that potentially has the coin you're looking for, or to fill your set or do whatever it is that you're doing, or whatever you collect.
And the other thing that we got to witness while we were there, obviously we were there for the baseball or basketball, football side, but during that time, there was probably 15 to 20 people sitting down playing a game. With
Did you come in Thursday or Friday?
Everybody. It was Friday night.
Friday night. Okay, so that's magic. And you probably just hit it like at 6 or whatever.
It was like a 7:30, 8 o'clock.
Right.
Yeah.
There probably was even more people that showed up after that.
Oh,
It gets nuts.
Wow.
We sometimes have 50, 60 people.
That's
in there.
right.
It's amazing. And so the gameplay is a lot of fun too. And brings a lot of customers in. That's where a lot of the TCG side of things come in, is the game plays Thursday nights, Friday nights, and Saturday during the day. And then, of course, we go to these shows like Ethan just went out to, I think, Houston Collecticon.
Sounds right.
I think it's Houston. Anyways, he's bringing back a monster amount of stuff for streaming, but I'm sure there's stuff in there for the store too. And so we go out to other areas and source a lot of this inventory and a lot of this stuff that we need. So it's been very good.
Let me add quick before we forget. We do have 2 products dropping this week. We have more basketball coming on Thursday, their holiday version. So this will be Christmas themed, and also another good thing to keep in mind for that. Topps holiday megas and their countdown. They do advent calendars actually that are great. Yeah. So those will drop on Thursday, and then this Friday, Halloween. I love it. Bowman Chrome U football, college football, fully licensed college football product.
That was a huge product the first time it came out. You remember that?
A ton of fun.
Wasn't it 2 years ago when that
it actually came out in paper version for 21, technically, but then 22 it went to Chrome.
It went to Chrome, right, yeah. It was monster when it first came out, and I remember Brian and I talking about it, and it was just awesome. Real quick, we are going to have a ton of candy on Friday afternoon during the day. We have a huge, actually, comic box full of candy. So we're going to put that at the shop. Everybody's welcome to come in, get some candy, trick or treat, and everything.
Good luck getting it from me. But
exactly.
Yeah,
Brian will probably have it all eaten by then, but that's okay. Great. I'll make sure and let Sharon know.
Are you the chocolate or the sugar type person?
If it's food, I eat it.
There you go.
So anyways.
That's awesome. And Todd, thank you so much for coming in.
Appreciate
it. And just go see him over there. Wonderful stuff going on over there at PCB Hobby. And when we come back, we're going to talk more about this college football season. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Text him now on the Red 7T studio line. 850-215-6290. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is designed specifically for sports fanatics like you. The sports content you demand is always on. Live stream our national and local sports talk anywhere you go. Reach us on all social media. You can also be a part of the show. Call and text into our studios. Plus, up-to-the-minute weather and traffic maps. The new app from 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida is available at the Apple Store and Google Play.
PCB Hobby, the beach's premier hobby store for sports cards, comics, coins, and trading card games. PCB Hobby carries the largest selection of boxes and packs from the latest releases of brands like Topps, Panini, Leaf, and more. Looking for a specific player or team? PCB Hobby has a wide assortment of raw and graded cards. They carry parallel rookie, game used, and autographed cards in both modern and vintage. Have a collection you want to sell? We buy, sell, and trade. PCB Hobby on Back Beach Road, just east of Florida Linen. Call 850-320-8388.
Mid-South Lumber, where they treat you like family. Locally owned and serving the residents of Bay County for over 45 years. See Mid-South Lumber for all of your DIY projects, including windows, doors, siding, lumber, and millwork. Are you building a new home? Bring your contractor in to Mid-South Lumber and meet with a member of their sales team to discuss your framing, siding, windows, and doors. Mid-South Lumber, the biggest little lumber yard in Panama City. 717 West 11th Street.
The Angel House Bereavement Center invites you to the Cal G Squires inaugural golf tournament at Bay Point. Tee off Friday morning on October 31st to support Angel House, a 501c3 nonprofit helping children, adolescents, and adults struggling with the pain of life-altering loss. This will be a special day with costumes, prizes, and lunch from Abrams Seafood. To sign up or get more information, go to the Angel House Bereavement Center Facebook page or angelhousebci.org.
Kevin Harlan here for Monday Night Football on Westwood One. Join me and Hall of Fame quarterback Kurt Warner from Arrowhead in Kansas City when the Chiefs take on the Commanders. Patrick Mahomes and resurging Kansas City have moved to 4-3 on the season with back-to-back wins. Now they face a 3-4 Washington team dealing with injuries. Don't miss it on Monday Night Football.
Commanders at Chiefs. Monday Night Football coverage starts at 6. Kickoff at 7:15 on 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
If you build it, they will come. We're live from the CBC Construction Studios. When the sun sets on the Emerald Coast, the freaks come out and play.
Hi, I'm a recovering crackhead. Hand me that shotgun. Get on your knees!
The Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson. 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida.
Welcome back. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. Don't forget, you can call in, you can text in on the Red 7T's phone line, 850-215-6290. So thankful for everybody listening today, whether you're listening on the radio, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, ESPN Northwest Florida app, whatever it is. Thank you so much. Comment, like, share, all of the stuff. We appreciate it. Don't want to go any further without talking about our sponsors, AutoNation Ford in Panama City. If you're in the market for a new vehicle or a used vehicle, go see those guys over at AutoNation Ford in Panama City. They're 730 West 15th Street, right past the railroad tracks. They can find out the vehicle you want, color, all the packages, whatever it is, whether it's a truck, SUV, or if you want to get you a car, they can find those as well. Either way, go see those guys over there. Now, if your vehicle is needing some tidying up, it's getting ready to get cold, maybe you need to get the windows fixed. Maybe your handle needs to be fixed because you know how it is in the mornings. It gets cold, you'll break your handle, your mirrors, all of those things. Go see those guys at Recommended Collision Center. They will take care of your vehicle, get it shaped up, shipped up, and ready to go for the wintertime, get you all sealed up. If you ever hear that deal going on when you're riding down the road and you hear some kind of wind blowing, well, they can seal that window up for you right up. Go see them over there, Recommended Collision Center on Jinx Avenue. This week's sponsor for the microphone is none other than a friend of mine named Joseph Carr. I know he's going to be happy. KML Hauling, 850-247-5074. Fast, local, and reliable junk removal. It's awesome. If you need something done for your property, they can take care of it. Those guys know what they're doing. They're fast. They're friendly. Like I said, they're local. They will take care of you. Tell them Paul sent you, and I'm sure they will take good care of you. They also do dumpster rental as well. So any kind of junk, any kind of removal from the house, maybe you're doing a project at home and you need all of that stuff gone, they will come and get it for you. Or if you need some trees taken down or any of that kind of stuff, go see those guys. KML Hauling right there, 850-247-5074. Thank you so much for that. We've got Ryan on the phone on the Red 7T's phone line. Ryan, how you doing, my friend?
Yes, sir. How you doing?
Good, man. What's going on, Ryan?
I just want to touch on a couple of topics. Well, certainly one, of course. I'm a Florida State fan. Mm-hmm. Let's start there.
That's okay. We got you. We got you. We're supportive here. Support group.
Okay. Well, to start the season the way we did, amazing. The expectations, I would say 50-50. Let's beat Alabama, and then all of a sudden, oh my God, we're on top of the world, if you will.
Yeah.
Now, where we've gone from there to now is really not that.
Yes.
But what I would like to say is, I'm born and raised here in Panama City, Florida. I went to Highland Park Elementary, Merritt Brown Middle School, Mosley, and there's been a lot of great athletes that have come out of this county. A lot of great athletes. One of the ones when I tried out for varsity baseball at Mosley back in 1990, I think it was 90 or 91. I had to step in the batter's box against a left-handed pitcher named Steve Breland, who went on to pitch, I think, for the Tigers in their program for a minute.
I think you're right.
Now he might be like an athletic director or something, or I'm not sure, over there at Highland Park. Here's where I'm going with this. There's a lot of talent that comes out of Bay County, Florida. A lot. Extremely a lot. And Randy Pittman, coming out of Mosley High School, he had a commitment to Florida University when he was at Mowat over here in Lynn Haven. Now, here's my thing. Despite all the adversities that Florida State is going through and this, that, and the other, he has been a crucial part of Florida State's play calling, if you will, in Tallahassee, coming from UCF up to, Tallahassee. And nobody talks about Randy Pittman, and I think it's such a shame. I listen to the Coach James Hill show every morning, and they always do the Florida State updates and this, that, and the other, but then nobody talks about Randy Pittman.
Yeah, and
he's such a great asset to their offense, and he's right here. He's Bay County.
Yeah, well, on Tuesdays, we do our Florida State ACC Day, and we actually have talked about Randy Pittman. Yeah. We actually had also Coach Tommy Joe Whidden, and he talked about him as well.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so we have talked about him because he's been very big part of what they're doing.
Yeah, I'm very sorry that I've missed that. I just haven't heard. I haven't heard that.
I know that we were touting him after the Virginia game because of the catch that he made that was so critical.
Oh my goodness, that was amazing.
You know what's even more amazing is that Pittman has been doing it all year on a bum knee.
Yeah,
that he actually could have had, I think, season-ending surgery on after the Alabama game, and they've decided to play through it. And I think he's going to have some work done the offseason. What he's done has been amazing. When you know he's done it on 1.5 legs,
right? Yes,
it's amazing. It's that much more amazing. He is a great player.
My daughter, she was in 6th grade at Mowat when he was in 8th grade.
Yeah,
and she would come home talk to me about this guy named Randy Pittman, and I was like, okay, that's like, back then he was like track and football and a lot of things at Mowat, and I was like, okay. And then I work at Beaver Brady's in Lynn Haven, right? Mm-hmm. And I ended up working with his uncle at Beaver Brady's, and his uncle would talk about his nephew, Randy Pittman. I was like, wow, okay, what is Randy Pittman?
Yeah.
And I started doing more research on it. This is like 4 years ago, but it's not. So finally, when my daughter was about to graduate at Mosley, the year before she graduated, when he was going to graduate as a senior, I went and watched a Mosley game at Tommy Oliver against Choctaw. Well, unfortunately, Choctaw put it to us.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, I had to go see him in person. I wanted to see him in person on the field. And he was running people over.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
In that game. He was a man among boys, if you will.
Yeah, well, he's definitely a top-notch kind of guy, and also just the way that he loves Florida State, and that's actually one of the goals for the end of the season that we have here for the Sports Blitz is that we're going to try to get him when he comes back home. We're going to try to get him in studio. I've already got my feelers out for him. So either way, yeah, but that's one of those things. We want to get all the local guys in here that is going off to play major college football, and even the ones that are just playing college football or baseball or basketball, any of those guys. But either way, we're going to have to go. Thank you for the call. We appreciate it. Yeah. And, that's one of the things that we will do is have those guys in. Real quick, I want to get in something that was talked about, and I want to get your opinion. I know we don't have but about 5 or 6 minutes here. But TV money and now NIL is picking winners and losers. Sad to see in college football. That was one of our listeners, James Dillon, had said. And, it's kind of been that way with the Blue Bloods and being able to grab, because you have these teams, but it's also now starting to push it out. So I think college football now, to me, has more parity in it than it's ever had because of the guys and the kids being able to go. You made a good point that it's not always about the college that's in your state now because, if you look at St. Paul's, Dan Lanning went all the way to Mobile, Alabama, and took a defensive line recruit from the University of Alabama, and he decommitted from Alabama and signed with Oregon, who's all the way on the other side of the continent, to go play with him. Because why? Just because of other reasonings. Sure. And a lot of it is the reasoning behind the money. And these guys don't want to go sit for 1 year. They want to play immediately, and they don't want to have quarterback competitions, and they don't want to have to sit behind somebody. They know they've got to go win a job, but they've got to be able to have that opportunity instead of sitting behind somebody that's going to be the starter.
It all depends on your perspective. If you're somebody who's a fan of a blue blood program, you would have appreciated the days when the tradition and the little underhanded network that we all had, it kind of decided the winners and losers there. I would say that nowadays it is more likely for an upstart program to have an opportunity. I don't know that overall parity has shaken out. This year it looks like it, But previous year, it's been about the same guys in the playoffs for the overall part, at least the top dogs. So the big boys are still going to be big, but I do think it has brought a few more teams into the mix that now, based on this new model, can get up to the top. Now, they're going to have to spend it, but at the end of the day, something is going to rule the roost. Right now, it's NIL and TV. In 20 years, it may be something different, but right now, that's certainly what's happening.
That's true. There is going to be 6 teams probably from last year that made the playoffs that'll make it this year. And that's half.
Yeah.
We'll have half turnover.
We'll have half turnover, but you got to look at some of the teams like Clemson, and you wonder
SMU.
about Notre Dame, and you look at SMU. You just wonder about those teams, and now you've got teams like Vanderbilt that maybe this is just their starship year.
It's deeper. I think the parity is coming more from lack of player development, and you look at a Vanderbilt. A lot of those guys have been there for a while. You saw it in college basketball coming out of COVID. The guys who were putting together, the people who've been there 2, 3, 4 years were tearing it up.
Yeah, and that's the biggest thing. Like when you look at it, it's got to figure. It's going to, like you said, it's going to shake itself out. Yeah. But talking about who is going to be the SEC teams, who are going to be those teams that have 1 loss or 2 losses that's going to make the playoffs. But it's been a great show. We've had a wonderful time. Thanks for listening today. Don't forget, tomorrow we're going to be talking all things Florida State and ACC. You're listening to the Sports Blitz with Paul Wilson at 104.3 ESPN Northwest Florida. We'll see you tomorrow.
Call in now.
This is Touchstone Service.